Dear students, today we are going to do a lesson from class 12 supplementary reader Vistas, and the name of the lesson is EVANS Tries an O-Level, written by Colin Dexter. Now this is a story about how a prisoner escapes from the prison. It's a very interesting story, although it is very long, but it is full of surprises, suspense, and finally you will enjoy it till the end. Now, let us see who are the characters in the story. The characters in the story, first of all, James Roderick Evans, who is a prisoner in HM Prison, Oxford, and in the lesson he is called as Evans. Then we have the governor of HM Prison, who is in charge of that prison. Then there is the Secretary of Examinations Board, and then we have Mr. Jackson and Mr. Stephens. These are two prison officers. Then we have Reverend S. McLeary, who is an invigilator appointed by the Examinations Board to conduct the exam. Mr. Carter is a detective superintendent. Mr. Bell is a detective chief inspector. Now, Evans, the prisoner. What kind of a person is Evans? He is called as Evans the Break by the prison authorities. Not violent sort of a person. He has no record of violence in the prison. He is a pleasant and amusing person. He is a star singer at the Christmas concert in the prison. And he is a congenital kleptomaniac. Congenital means by birth. He is a born. Kleptomaniac means a person who has a compulsory urge to steal. So he is in the habit of stealing. He is a born kleptomaniac and he wishes to qualify the O-level exam in German language because he wants to achieve some academic qualification. So, the prison authorities arranged for a teacher from the technical college to teach him German. He was given coaching classes in the evening and the German teacher used to come and teach him every day. Now is the time to appear for the exam. So, the governor of HM Prison talks to the secretary of the examinations board that we have a prisoner who wants to appear for his O-level German exam. When the governor tells the Secretary of Examinations Board that their prisoner wants to appear for the O-level German exam, the secretary agreed and he said we will make all arrangements. And at this, the governor said that we want that he should appear for the exam in the prison itself. He is the only prisoner in his cell, so we can make all arrangements in the cell itself. He said we want to take extra measures for the sake of precautionary measures. We want that he should appear for the exam in the cell itself. So the secretary of the examinations board agreed, and then he appointed an invigilator. That is, who is an invigilator? A person who conducts the exam. And he keeps a vigil over the candidates who are writing the exam. So the secretary of the examinations board appointed an invigilator, and this invigilator was a church priest, right? So now the exam was to be conducted in Evans' cell itself as precautionary measures, and the secretary of the board examinations, he said that the governor has to ensure that this prisoner, while he is taking the exam, should be kept incommunicado. Incommunicado means no communication should be there between Evans and anybody else in the prison. So the governor ensured him that. Now the preparations for the exam began, and in the morning Jackson and Stephens, the two prison officers, they went to Evans and told him to get ready and do his shaving and after that Jackson was a senior prison officer. He told Stephens that after Evans finishes off with shaving, he should take the razor from him as a precautionary measure. So Jackson gives instructions to Evans also to behave himself properly. Then he told him, after shaving, he told him to remove the pictures from the walls. There were some pin-ups, some pictures pinned on the walls in his room, in his cell. So he said, remove these pictures because the examination is going to be conducted by an invigilator who is going to be a church priest. Then after that, Jackson told Evans to remove his bobble hat, the red bobble hat that he was wearing. He said it looks very shabby and he had never liked it. But at this, Evans says that this hat is my good luck, so please allow me to wear for this exam only, because it is going to be good luck for me, and after that I will never wear it. And he knew that Jackson had a core of compassion, that is pity, in a corner of his heart. So he took advantage of that and Jackson agreed. So Evans kept on wearing his hat. Then after that, Evans' cell, it was bugged. Bugged means a hearing device was fixed over there, and at this Evans asked him, who is going to hear? He said the governor is going to hear. The governor in his office will keep the recorder on and he will be continuously keeping a watch on any happenings in the cell. So he said the governor is going to have a control over this. So he informed him about the hearing device that was put up there. Then he told him even the cell, Evans' cell was thoroughly searched so that there is nothing objectionable in his cell. And then finally he had told Stephens to take away the razor. Now after that, at 8:45 a.m., McLeary, the invigilator, who was a church priest, he started from his home from Broad Street at 8:45 a.m. with his brown suitcase. The suitcase that he was carrying contained a sealed question paper envelope, a paper knife, a yellow form, the invigilation form, and then special identity card, special authentication card, that is the special identity card, a copy of the Bible he had because he was preparing for some speech, and a copy of church times in his suitcase. And McLeary, he was also searched for whatever was there in his bag. But when he came, first of all, as McLeary enters, he signs at the visitor's book on the entry, and a silent prison officer escorts him to Jackson. Jackson is a senior prison officer. So Jackson first opens the lock of the main gate. When McLeary is taken in, he locks it again. Then he goes inside the inner gate. The lock is opened. They go in. Again it is locked. And Jackson hands McLeary over to Stephen. He gives the invigilator into Stephen's charge, because in the D wing, it is the D wing where he has to go. In the D wing, Stephen's in the examination cell, that is in the prison cell, while the exam will be going on. He will keep a close watch on Evans while he will be writing the exam. So Jackson handed over, or rather you can say he gave this invigilator into Stephen's charge. Then the exam begins. Now, before the exam begins, the governor, there was something troubling him in his mind. He thought maybe the invigilator has something which may be objectionable. So he told Jackson immediately, he gave him a call, he said search McLeary too, so that he does not even by mistake or by innocence have any sharp instrument, maybe like a paper knife, something of which this Evans could take advantage to hold him hostage or something like that. So Jackson immediately came and asked McCleary to come out, and he said the governor's orders to search you also. So he searched his pockets. Then he took his suitcase. He opened it up. He saw all the envelopes one after the other by passing his palms over all surfaces. Then he saw there was a rubber tube, a very, you may say, it looked like a tube which a child uses for swimming, 12 inches tube. So he said, what is this? Are you going for a swim after the exam? And McCleary did not like this kind of a joke. He said, I suffer from piles, I suffer from hemorrhoids, and because of that, if it is long sitting, I need to use this rubber tube. It is only for that purpose I am carrying. So he kept it in, and then he found that there was a paper knife in the suitcase. So Jackson took that away. Now, after searching McCleary, he told him to go in. Inside the cell, the tables were already arranged, the chairs were arranged. One table and chair on one side was for the invigilator, the other table and chair was for Evans. Evans was already sitting with his textbook of German, elementary grammar book of German, and McCleary went and took his seat. Now, the exam begins. Now, what happened was, because the exam was to begin at 9:15 a.m., but because governor wanted to search McCleary also, so 10 minutes passed in that. Now it was 9:25 a.m. when the exam began. That means the exam began late. It got late to start. Now the governor, he switched on his recorder in his room to keep a continuous control or a watch or a vigil over that cell. Then the invigilator, he got all the details in the question paper, in the answer sheet, filled by Evans. Now what are these details he asked him to fill? He said on the left corner, write question paper, name of the question paper 021-1, index number on the right hand side in the corner 313, then he told him write center number 271, and Stephens was on duty inside the cell. So when he was filling the detail, when Evans was filling the details, Stephens was standing close to him. So now here Evans objected. He said, I can't write if somebody is breathing so close to my neck. I don't know, I can't write if he is standing so close. So this the governor heard in his office. So the governor thought perhaps we are overdoing things. So he gave an order. He had instructed that Stephens could be put outside on duty, and from outside, from the peephole of the door, he could keep a vigil. So Stephens was posted outside. Now Evans was to write the exam. Now Stephens was keeping a watch over Evans while writing the exam. After every 1 minute, he would peep through the peephole and he would see the same posture in which Evans was sitting. Every time he would see him with his pen between his teeth and as if he is thinking something. So every time it was like that. So what happened, because Stephens thought that everything is going okay, so instead of every 1 minute watch, he increased the gap and he started observing him after every 2 minutes. So he would see from the peephole after every 2 minutes, but then after some time he saw that Evans, he had put on a blanket on his shoulders. Now Stephens got alert. He thought, is he trying to is there something in his mind, and will he have a Batman's league with the blanket over the invigilator to hold him hostage, to force him to take him out? Is it his attempt to run away? So then suddenly he thought that he is feeling cold. This side of the prison, there is no sunshine, there is no sun, so it becomes cold. He must be feeling cold. He took it lightly and he said, okay, I will now watch him. After every 1 minute, I will revert to my previous 1 minute observation. So he did not inform this to the governor or to Jackson that he had put on a blanket on his shoulder. So now what happens when the exam began? After around 15 minutes of the exam, there was a call for correction in question paper from the board exam. Now the call came to the governor. Somebody from the board said that there was a correction in the question paper and somebody who had packed the question paper forgot to put the correction slip in that. Will you please allow us to make the correction in the question paper? So the governor directly connected him to the place, to the cell, to where the exam was taking place. So the invigilator was hearing that correction directly from the board. So the correction was that on page 3, line 15, the fourth word was golden, not goldine. So that was the correction that was made. After that, there was another call. After some time, another call from the court. They wanted a prison van with some prison officers. First the governor thought, is it a hoax call? Is it some planning going outside? So he tried to confirm. Then he thought he is just overreacting and he should not be taking things so seriously and he should not bother so much. He was satisfied that good security arrangements were there. There was no chance of EVANS escape. So he just let it go. After that, now call for correction slip in question paper. After that, call for prison van. It was from the court. And then Stephen has already noticed the blanket. Now there was another call at 11:22. Now the call at 11:22 was that Jackson came hurriedly to Stephen. He said, come and attend the call. There is a call from governor. So why? Just Stephen left from there and went to attend the call, and on the phone he heard the words, quickly spoken words. When the exam is over, you will escort McLeary to the gate. You will see him off. So Stephens is thinking that I am a new one appointed and Jackson is a senior one. The governor has given me this privilege to escort this invigilator to the gates. So he is feeling happy.